Okay. Hello, YouTube. So as the title um, goes, you can see it now on the channel. We are going to be looking at the must-have elements of a proposal. So let's get this happening. Unfortunately, I'm not sharing my screen right now because we have a member of the squad who's going to be sharing the screen. And this is going to help you out in a major way if you're starting out as a beginner on Upwork. Another thing that I would like to recommend to you, if you're a beginner on Upwork, and I'm going to pin it in the chat box on YouTube right now, is definitely going to the free resources page where I will literally take you by the hand, step by step, and show you how to set up your profile on Upwork, how to get started, how to send your very first proposal, how to send a proposal even if you don't have previous experience, as well as getting ready to set up your portfolio. So in the squad, we do things a little bit different, but for free, you're going to get a ton of value. So I hope that you are able to see us, and please feel free to ask any questions.
I believe my screen is now visible to everyone.
I can see your screen. I'm just double checking
Okay,
on
perfect.
YouTube if they're able to see us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're live. Yes, okay, YouTube, please, please. Gird your loins. I'm about to pin something in the comments where you can get your hands on our free resources, or you can click the link in the bio with the paid squad where you can join us inside on Zoom. Hey, Tato, take it away. Let's get started. Would you
All right,
like to
perfect.
focus more on, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Would you like to focus more on projects where you have received a view so that we can see how to turn that into an interview? Or do you want to look at all proposals and see if they contain the must-have elements?
We can do all proposals, obviously not all of them, but most of them, just to see if they have what it takes.
Yes, absolutely. And
And
this
then,
session, YouTube is going to be so much shorter than the usual ones because I'm going to carry on with the squad afterwards. So if you're in the squad, good, we're just going to carry on. Unfortunately, I had a meeting run way over time, but if you're watching on YouTube, we'll be in here for maybe a maximum of about 20 minutes. So ask as many questions as you can in the chat because I will try to get to all of them. Okay, let's go, Teto.
yeah, so this is the job details, and this is my proposal. There's only one slot to fill, only the cover letter, no additional questions.
Isn't that something we love? Because the additional
Definitely.
questions, I mean, we know how to get it done, but still. How are you finding the new version of Neuro?
I haven't played with Neuro quite a bit, especially after the update, but I am seeing, I know, but I am seeing a bit of I think, an improvement, especially with following all of the instructions that are in the prompt.
Okay, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at your
Mm.
proposal.
All right, perfect.
Perfection. Okay. So there's typically in the proposal sending framework that we have, or the PSS framework, there's typically some steps, right? Can you guys in the squad have to list them off for us line by line, and I will follow along with you.
Steps 2.
there are elements that we have in the PSS framework to create a really agitating proposal that does get not just a view, but a response. So can you give us those elements? How do we start with here, for instance? What are we starting with?
All right, I don't think I remember all of them, but I do know that we have to start with greeting the client and then dropping a really cool tip, a really cool tip for them, just to grab their attention. And I remember that you also have to, you don't have to, but you can also include a methodology of how you will take over and handle the project. If there is an elephant in the room to be addressed, perhaps the client wants talent from a certain region, you can address that as well. But then also make sure that you drop in a lot of value in the proposal as well, and ask at least 3 questions just to show the client that you are engaged and you're eager. And finally, you close off with a really strong and compelling call to action.
Okay,
I think that's
there
it.
we go. Yeah, you you said you can't remember all of them, and then somehow managed to cover all of them. Okay, so let's see now. We're going to compare what you wrote versus what we know as the PSS framework, or the must-have elements of a strong proposal on Upwork. So we've got our greeting. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with hi there. Do you remember why?
Because it feels too generic and it's too ChatGPT-ish.
Yeah, we call that inside the squad. Well, actually in
Bot
tech
tell.
now, it's called a
Yeah.
bot tell to all the people watching. Don't mind this hideous writing. So I would get rid of, I would just be like, hi, I don't know your name. It's an address. It's like an elephant in the room. In the chat says about tell. Awesome. It's like an elephant in the room that you don't know the client's name. So we are doing attention to detail and addressing the elephant in the room if we mention something about that. Quickly, we're doing attention to detail and the elephant in the room, and it does set you apart. Did you remember when we were working with Israel's proposals and fixing them? We were like saying things like, man, wouldn't it be nice if I knew your name, or whatever it is that sounds like you. So then we go into, did you know that businesses with strong social media marketing strategies see a 32% increase in conversion rates? Okay, this is value, this is good. That's exactly the kind of impact I aim to deliver. Okay, so immediately I would not include that section. Can you tell me why? It's a word that starts with F, and then I'll explain why I wouldn't include this.
I believe you call it friction.
I do call it friction. The minute you start to talk about yourself, you lose the client. The very first lines, the very first 3 lines of your proposal are key real estate. This is where you literally drive home the point that I am the expert, I am the gifted. So if you immediately start to tell them about you and your qualifications, you're not getting to their pain point, right? If you watch my reels on the Paid Squad Instagram account, you'll see that I mention over and over and over again what makes a proposal really strong, and it is make it more about the client. Think like a dentist. You go into a dentist's office, maybe they have their qualifications somewhere on the wall, but their qualification is implied. It is implied. Like, yeah, they can do what they say they can do. They're in a dentist's office, you sit on the chair, and then they start to examine you and then go, okay, I'm seeing a few things, but where is the pain for you? They always say, where's the pain? So the first thing that you want to do is keep the client in their pain. You don't talk about what makes you qualified, you demonstrate it. So when we say things like, that's my aim, I aim to, no. I'm thrilled about the opportunity, no. With strong background in I can deliver, no. So this is friction. We're going to get rid of friction. And suddenly, and this is going to blow your mind, but it's highly effective. A proposal does not have to be super duper long, as long as it covers all of the elements that we have have here called the PSS framework. As long as you've got your greeting, your attention to detail, you address any elephants in the room, you give value, you seek permission, you ask questions, you give a strong CTA and close off, you're good to go. Okay, hi, did you know that blah, 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 blah? And then immediately you can expect seamless integration that efficiently connects your awesome. My experience in no, the client doesn't really care about this. I have constantly, nope. Additionally, I'm, nope. I have successfully, nope. My ability to develop, nope. Now, you can expect seamless integration that efficiently connects your Facebook Marketplace and Instagram ad accounts, optimize the potential of both platforms. Bingo. To ensure we're on the same page, I'd love to know. Beautifully done. You asked your questions. I'm eager to discuss this project in more detail and explore how we can work together to achieve your goals. This is a bot tell. I would not include it again because I'm talking about myself. So we schedule a call soon to dive in. Dive in is the biggest bot tell of all. Dive in, dive deeper, navigate, journey, tapestry, weave fabric, the tapestry of. Definitely a huge bot tell. Let's just underline that so that you don't forget. And then looking forward to the potential of collaborating on this exciting project. I like it. Thanks, Tataji. Perfect. So to actually sum it up, when you get rid of all of that friction, your proposal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences long. You've 8 sentences, which gives it something like a 2 to 4 minute read time, which is perfect. It's perfect. It makes you memorable. It's perfect. Because you gave so much value and you kept it about the client. You can expect, did you know? To ensure we're on the same page, I'd love to know what specific outcomes are you trying to achieve with how have your previous social media efforts performed? What would your dream scenario look like? Looking forward to the potential of collaborating on this exciting project. Even this can be a bot tell. I like to keep things a little bit more agitating, like, shall we schedule a call soon? ? And then I'll be like, let me know. I'll be waiting. Let me know. I'll be waiting. Let's talk. ! Right? The shorter the sentences, funny enough, the more human it is. The less you write, the more human it sounds. So that's something else that I want you to kind of think about and remember. All right, so far so good. I'm just going to delete everything that's in white, all the blanks and the green writing. Knowing this, the framework that we have on the side, I'm going to keep that on the screen. Let's look at the next couple of proposals. Is that okay?
Sorry about that. Let's do that. Content creator.
All right, let's check YouTube. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you're watching for the first time, hi, welcome to the party. All right, here we go. Oh, I love this. I love this. Marhaba, did you know posts with consistent brand voice across platforms of 25? Yeah, this really highlights how vital it is to have a unified strategy. So for you, Tato, I'm starting to be able to diagnose something. You write so formal. You write so formal. How do you go from marhaba to like G's, like you know, like really formal? You gotta loosen up. It's Upwork. right? It's not LinkedIn. Don't worry about trying to be super duper professional. Clients know what time it is when they're on Upwork. So you can be a little bit more laid back, more relaxed. So what I'm going to ask you to always maintain when you're talking to Nero is you're going to say, now write at the level of a high school graduate, because it's high school graduates have a strong enough vocabulary that it's not the tone of a 5-year-old. But at the same time, it's still layman's terms. So even though you're doing something as complex as creating content strategies and things like that, even though it's that complex, being able to explain complex issues in the simplest language possible is a sign of intelligence. So when you use really simple words, that's actually when you are demonstrating your expertise. So did you know post with a consistent brand voice across platforms 23 more likely to convert? Perfect. This really highlights how vital it is to have a unified content strategy. I would say, once Neuro writes at a high school graduate level, this really should show you that having a content strategy that works together is a really good idea. Then we have that friction with my background and content. You do not need to talk about your background. I promise you, you're not going to lose them, right? So I wouldn't include this part. Before we go anywhere, I know you're specifically looking for talent. Youth, love this. So if you had just focused on before we go anywhere, so did you know? And then before we go anywhere, you see how much more agitating that is. It's like, okay, you've got my attention. And the way you write Turkey, it's funny enough, it's pronounced the same way in Russian. This is correct. Like the way that this is good. You're literally demonstrating your expertise and your enthusiasm. That's really important. So
Thank
this
you,
part
thank you.
here, not important, but this right here, if we had just moved it further up, we could be eating right now. Okay, here's how I'll handle your project. We have a small typo, but you know what? I think that's smart what you did. Because even though vital to have a unified content strategy, it's very formal. When you have a typo like this, it kind of makes the client go, wait, did they use ChatGPT or like did they type it? It's like ChatGPT would never make that mistake. So I don't know. Hope you did that intentionally, but that was clever. Okay, so the other thing that I wouldn't do is have these little headings. Normal people don't write like this. Instead, I'll kick things off by diving into, okay, this is about to, I'll kick things off, diving into. You can just say, start off by looking at your clients' communities to understand their unique needs and interests, by actively engaging with followers to help build stronger. Okay, this is good. And then next, I'll craft compelling on-brand content. So this is why it's so important. Can you see that? Because it just doesn't sound human. So to make sure we're a perfect fit, I'd love to know, I love this wording, because it adds a scarcity element to it. It says, you know what, I need to work with you. Hello, I love Turkey. Somebody else is going to hire me if it's not you. But to make sure that we're a perfect fit, answer some questions. Then I love this. Let's connect over Zoom soon to you, but to look or talk further about these questions and chat about how we can work together too. You can cut it off here. To elevate your client's online presence, yada, yada, yada. Remember, the longer the sentences, the more it doesn't sound human. Human beings tend to be very curt. I don't know why. Let's connect over Zoom to talk about these questions and chat about how we can work together, period. And then there's your thank you, and there's your thoughtful. So there are elements that you're doing really, really well. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't commented and you're not asking any questions, and if you're here with us on Zoom and you haven't commented and you're not asking any questions, what are you doing? I'll extend it just for the first time today. I won't cut us off just yet. Hato, can you be a legend? And we will do one more of your proposals unless somebody has a question.
All right, no problem. Let me find one that was viewed. I mean, I hope it has all the necessary
Elements. Let's see if,
yes.
even if it doesn't have all the other necessary elements, let's see if it has
Mhm.
something extra we can learn from you.
All right, no problem. Oh God, this is a long one.
But I love it. Okay, so here already I can see the agitation. You've got pattern interruption. This part here is called a pattern interrupt. So you're doing something that is different, but it's psychological still in neuromarketing. So you're doing a pattern interrupt. So you greeted them. Hi, Kevin. Attention to detail. Love that. Let's face it, Meta Business Manager can be quite the puzzle, even for the pros. With constant updates and region-specific features, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the good news. While the platform does evolve, the core fundamentals, yes, whether you're looking to seamlessly, friction, then I would not use emojis in my proposals for one reason. Back in the day, like before chatbots were around, it was totally like you went the extra step to use emojis. But now I wouldn't use emojis because it just makes it seem like ChatGPT wrote it, because ChatGPT does emojis. So you'd want to use, if you want to use characters, you can use maybe Unicode, ASCII characters, where it's like a bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. But even that's a bit ChatGPT-ish. So I would just not do it. Just stick to regular dashes. It's just fine. And then I also would not include this part. I think I'm just gonna like white out the parts I wouldn't include, but probably not that aggressively. Let me just show you using a shape. So I wouldn't include addressing your requirements, and I would not use emojis. I already, even though it's long originally, because we got rid of that friction, do you see how it suddenly condenses it again? So you definitely do want to read your proposals after you've written them with Neuro and finesse them a little bit more. A few questions to get us started is totally fine. How about we set up a Zoom call to tell into these questions and discuss how we can collaborate effectively, okay? I'm excited at the prospect of working together. And then thanks for considering my proposal. And I wouldn't include best regards because that's a bot tell. But so far, so good. So far, so excellent, actually. Do we have any questions in the chat? Like, this is a new thing, Hato. I have to point out that you used a new technique here, the pattern interruption. Chef's kiss. Like, try experimenting with what you get from Neuro, and please use the new version of Neuro. I'm telling you now, it's fun. It's very fun because you just send proposals so much faster now. On average, guys, how long does it take you to send a proposal with the new version of Neuro? Oh, Tamara, thank you for the question. She says, can you give examples of pattern interruption? So everyone is saying, dear sir, hi client. Pattern interruption is saying, hi Kevin. That shows that you went ahead and you know their name. So first they're like, okay, do I know you? Have I like seen you before? Have I hired you before? But how come I don't remember? And then we're like, let's face it. The client has read maybe 10 proposals, maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 5. You never know. And so when you say, let's face it, XYZ can be quite the puzzle, even for the pro. That's a pattern interruption because they're expecting another boring thing where everyone talks about themselves. So you showing up and just being like, look, I know I see things from your point of view. That's pattern interruption, by the way. That's another example. Let's face it. Look, I know that this looks like this, or even if you're reading something a little bit more tragic, like in my niche, a lot of the legal stuff that we deal with can be a little bit, or like, oh my goodness. So just, hi, Kevin. Oh my goodness, that sounds like such a terrible situation that you're in. First of all, I just want to let you know that you didn't do anything wrong or anything. That's a pattern interruption because it's like, oh my gosh, I did not expect this person to be human and for them to like understand that my situation is tragic. So that is an example of pattern interruption. And if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm afraid this is where we are going to end it for this evening, but come back tomorrow where we're going to be looking at something else. I'm thinking if you tune in tomorrow, we're going to be looking at using the squad, of course, as an example, the paid squad. Check the link in the bio, but we're going to talk about how to identify high paying clients on Upwork because the squad already knows how to do this. They use the magic L, they use other things, but there are other metrics that we use. Okay, so you're going to be able to spot the clients who are willing to pay premium rates and then how to tailor your approach to these clients. Make yourself completely unavailable to low ballers. So I hope that at least you finally learned the elements of a really, really, really good proposal right here on Upwork. All right, Tato, let's continue while our friends on YouTube